Hello, this is Matthew, Robert Payne, and this is an unshaven Matthew. And this is an interview with my mother, who's in heaven. And for people who are following this series, this will be interesting for you. If you're new to my YouTube, I hope that this is interesting to you and you're encouraged by it. Um, my mother passed away in August 2019, and so it's been 15 months since she's passed away, and so um, haven't had an interview with her for a couple of conversation with her for a couple of weeks, and so I'm looking forward to hearing from her. So um, I'll just let her speak. Hi, Matthew. Um, I really excited with the developments of the investor. He's over there sitting on the seat, and you've been interviewing a high-profile member of the Illuminati. And if you're gifted in the Holy Spirit and can see in the Spirit, you can see him sitting there, and he's happy. He's leaning forward, and he's got this Illuminati sign in his hands like that. He's concentrating. He's got this Illuminati sign saying, "I'm Illuminati." Ha ha. And so it could actually be this one. Um, he's just changed his hands and focus, and he's putting this downward one there. But now he's going like this. So he's been a bit of a comedian there. And now he's up and dancing across the room. So that's pretty funny. He's distracting me, Mum. So, Matthew, I want you to know that your whole life was planned. I just told you some things when you were lying in your bed that I've been instructing people in the Christian faith, many thousands of people that are going to come online with you and listen to you as you speak telepathically to them, and I've been instructing them and lecturing them in my book, um, uh, Christian Discipleship Made Simple, um, and uh, I didn't realize that my book on the earth will be a popular book in the future when you're a New York Times best-selling author. Lots of people will read it on earth, and it'll be the go-to guide on how to learn about your Christian faith. Besides people reading your books, but I'm actually doing those lectures in heaven in a lecture hall, and taking students from earth and teaching them. And this is new information to you, new revelation to you. I've actually known about this future with the investor and the doors that he was going to open up, and the things that he was going to start, that he started in the last couple of days with you. And I've known all about this for over a year, and just wasn't able to tell you. You had to struggle through and make it to yesterday to realize that this is going to happen. And it's the investors got billions of dollars, and he needs an army. So we've got to raise up an army. An army got to be found and put into motion. And there's a lot of work to do, and it's good that there'll be thousands of people doing the work. And there's a bird making a noise in the sound in the background. It's 10:55 at night, and this bird is making a sound, and it's a sound reminiscent of birds that make a sound down near the beach when your dad was fishing. And it was your way, nature's way of saying hello from dad. And I want you to know that I care deeply about you, and it's me and Dad sitting over here, and and I'm I'm enjoying speaking to you, and I love you. If you can see, I'm here and your father's here. I'm here, I'm here, and your father's here. Um, and and we really love you. Of course, we couldn't say that the investor was going to be the one that opened the doors that Auti prophesied about. If you haven't got a prophecy from Auti, I encourage you to get a prophecy from Auti. If you're listening to this, Auti's one of the most accurate prophets Matthew's ever come across, and you'd be really well served getting a prophecy for him from him, and he'll put a link in the description tag under this video so you can get a prophecy from Auti, and I it's fun. It's fun keeping secrets from you, Matthew. Many people may not have met a person like Matthew. He's so comfortable to fly blind. He's so comfortable to do things and not know the outcome, not know what he's saying, not understand or have any understanding of what is going to be said, what is going to be done, and the outcomes. He just works along on his books. He edits his books and gets someone to copy edit his books, and he rereads his books. He publishes his books. He's in this set process of getting things done, and every second or third day he goes out to the shopping center, and when he goes out to the shopping center, he witnesses to people, and he just encourages people and talks to people and builds people up, and sometimes he prophesies, sometimes he just encourages a person. Very rarely does he uh, try and win someone to Jesus. He'll say at the end of the conversation, God bless you, which is his way of saying, I'm a Christian. I'm giving you a Christian blessing. And everyone he talks to is happy that he said, God bless you. But he just works on his books and works on videos and posts on Facebook and reads Facebook. And he's just an average sort of guy, but he really doesn't know the long-term plans in his life. He doesn't, not aware of uh, the investor and what what's going to fully eventuate. And he's just in the last couple of days been finding out where that relationship is going to go, and he's excited about what's happening, and uh, we're excited because it's time. It's time for the army of God to start to be raised up in the world, and uh, it's important that all the key players, the Illuminati and witchcraft, join the ranks, and they start to join up and be part of this, and start to understand um, what is meant to happen, and what their roles are going to be, and how they need to come out of their witchcraft and come out of the Illuminati, and start to play a role on earth outside of ministering and worshipping and participating in darkness. So I'm happy that you've reached this stage, Matthew, and I'm happy that you're got an audience tonight of people who are listening to you and watching you, and they are watching this interview and watching you me speak and listening to me speak, and If you look at out the deck chairs there, there's if if you look in the deck chairs there, there's famous singers standing there from Earth, and there's people in the room that are famous singers. And if you've got the gift of sight and you can see, you'll be able to see singers there that you know from Earth, and that's in my house in heaven. And you'll be able to say, "Oh, that's amazing! They're listening to Matthew. That's amazing." And if you see a singer there, type in the comments who you see. Interesting thing about visions is that there could be 10 singers there, but 100 people say different names, because you'll only see the 10 singers that you hope are there, not the 10 singers that someone else hopes will be there. So it would be quite possible that 1,000 names are listed. And if you post a name there and Matthew gets a comment, he'll say yes or no on the comment if the name is right. And you can be sure, well, you can go back and watch the video and post another name and see if you're right about that one. So that'll be something for you to listen to. One of the singers, one of the singers is Selena Gomez, and she's in the picture there. And if you know what she looks like, you can say hello to her. Today we've got our guest question asker, Natalie. And Natalie, for people who haven't listened to former videos, is going to ask Matthew a couple of questions. And Natalie was a former abortion and has grown up in heaven with like foster parents that have raised her. And she's very happy in heaven, and she's always got questions for Matthew. And she's a guest in my house all the time. And so she's got a question for Matthew. So I'll just put Natalie on. So hi, Natalie. Hi, Matthew. My first question is, how excited are you that the investor is the one that's going to open the doors for you, introduce you to other people, and already has introduced you to other people? It's really exciting. Natalie, I sort of, when you're a nobody, it's really hard to open doors. And there's certain people in Christian ministries that are like gatekeepers. They hold the authority of a gate. They don't open the gate to certain people. And if you don't look the part, if you don't sound the part, you just never get a stage in the Christian ministry. And it's a whole lot of hoops you got to jump through to be accepted in Christian churches and be accepted speaker. And if the gatekeepers open the gate, like Sid Roth opens the gate, well, then you can speak on Sid Roth. But if he doesn't open the gate, then you can't speak there. And so I'm sort of happy that someone in the Illuminati is going to open the doors. And their Illuminati friends know Christians and know of Christians who've got a good reputation. They're going to introduce me to those Christians that they approve of. So I'm excited that the investor who I've been interviewing is going to open the doors for me, and I'm happy, and I'm sort of excited that some of the names I've been talking to, public figures in America today. Selena Gomez, the singer, is one of them, and sort of happy to be talking to some really influential people in the world at the moment through the investor. So this is Natalie. When you consider that the movie that had the guy being watched by the whole world on his own TV show, you don't remember the name of the movie. The movie was out 25 years ago, but it was Jim Carrey was in the movie, and it was a reality show of his life. And you've been told half an hour ago that your life is like that reality show, that was thousands of people watching you and seeing everything you say and do. And rather than freak you out, it sort of makes you happy. And people could learn a lot. People do learn a lot going out with me and walking next to me in the spirit, like walking in the Holy Spirit. Um, and so I'm excited about that reality show. I don't know if I went from Natalie's voice to my voice, but this is definitely me speaking. So I'm excited that people are watching because I always wanted people to learn how to do prophetic evangelism by teaching them. And in America, you can get a camera and record people, and Todd White can show you how to do prophetic evangelism. But in Australia, people don't like cameras, and so you can't record a natural reaction with a person because they're not the same with cameras. And so I was never been able to do it. I wondered how I could practically teach people how to be a witness and how to shine God's light um, without showing them on camera how I do it. And the idea that thousands of people are watching me and can watch me every time I go out, I can really ramp it up and show people how to do it, what sort of questions to ask, what sort of things to say, uh, and uh, and teach people how to do it. And so I'm really pleased people are watching me. It doesn't freak me out. It sort of makes me really happy. And to hear that some have been watching me for a year is just amazing for me. Just to find that out, and I'm surrounded by the right sort of counselors. I'm surrounded by the right sort of people right now to know that I'm not being insane at the moment, and I'm not being mentally ill. And someone just famous singer appeared in heaven and waved at me and said hello, and it sort of distracted me. Um, and uh, and they're all appearing now and waving to me. People I've been talking to tonight, today. Um, so I'm really happy that's the case. So, what's your next question, Natalie? I want to know if you're going to have an early night tonight. Yeah, I'm going to talk for as long as people want to talk. I'm probably going to stay up until Dundee gets up and have a chat to him early in the morning in about 3 hours, and so I'm probably going to sleep after that because one thing I do know is if you stay up for 2 and 3 days when you're mentally ill, you go a bit psychotic, and I don't want that to happen. And it's okay um, uh, for you to think thousands of people are watching you and can see you and you're playing that role, but it makes sense that it's possible to happen because it was in a movie, and um, yeah, it just makes sense that the Illuminati would make something that is possible to happen. Um, and yeah, so I really enjoyed your questions. One more question is Natalie. One more question for you, Matthew. Do you think you're ever going to give up? You've asked this question before, Natalie, another time. Um, but I imagine there's a reason for this question. Sometimes it's hard not to give up. Um, I'm waiting for uh, the other partner, and I believe I'm going to make a fulfillment of Revelation 11 with the other partner, and not be the two witnesses, but be like them. And the time now is 11:11, and that reminds me of the two witnesses. And it's like one person from Revelation 11 and another person from Revelation 11. So the undertone of your question is, you're going to give up, and that's not suicide, but are you going to ever give up waiting to be discovered and waiting for this wife? And um, the fact is, the wife is going to be another strong prophet who who leads the world with me, and so I can't give up, can I? I've got to wait and be patient and let it happen. Orty actually said that I'll meet my wife this year, so he said that 3 months ago. So said not to go looking for her; she'll just appear. So I'm patiently waiting for her. Um, So back to Mum. So see you, Natalie. See you, Matthew. Um, so Mum, what have we got on the agenda now? We're going to have the investor speak to you um, right now, and the investor is, as I've said, um, someone who's in the Illuminati, who's come into the Christian faith now, and is doing a book with Matthew, a series of videos. And he's going to pull together a whole lot of other investors, business people in the Illuminati, and Matthew's been talking to them today. So this investor, who's not mentioned by name, is going to talk now. So hi, uh, how are you? I'm good, Matthew. You can see me here in your parents' house, and you can see some of the people who uh, were talking to you today in heaven, and it's all real, and you can see them, and the names and the people are waving, and they're all clearly in your mother's house, and um, so we're all here, and you can be relaxed that Satan deceived you a year ago, and you thought you were doing this, and you were just having like a psychotic break, but part of it was happening, part of it wasn't, and it really disturbed you, and you ended up in a psych ward, in a mental ward. Um, but now it's really happening, and Orty prophesied that it was really going to happen again, and so it's really happening now for the second time, and uh, one of the political figures is on one of the deck chairs and said, "This is just a beautiful place, man. I can hang out this place all day long." And um, so they're on one of the deck chairs, sipping a pina colada, which is actually in one of my books. It's a coconut rum, and uh, coconut rum and Coke, I think. Um, uh, I don't know. I don't know what's in a pina colada now. I've got to look it up, but it is coconut rum and Coke, I think. Um, so they're sipping that, and and uh, they're saying it's a wonderful time, and that's a political figure that you know of in America who's really popular, and so they're there, and their daughter is there, and you can see the daughter too, and she's enjoying herself, and they're going to be hanging out in heaven a lot from this time on, spending time with saints, being tutored by Mary Magdalene, uh, and this room here doubles as a lecture theatre when it's time for your mother to teach, or Mary Magdalene to teach. It transitions itself into a lecture theatre. So Matthew's mum has just got to go to the kitchen and get herself a drink and come and stand at the podium, and the whole room transforms into a lecture theatre, so she doesn't have to travel there. And so it's really amazing, and it's really happening with you. And you can be sure that it's happening because you can see everything, and it's not a delusion. And I want to share with you that you've put in the hard work. There's not many Christians who've written 58 books. There's not many Christians who've written 58 books. There's not many Christians that have spent $140,000 producing 58 books who've only preached in a church 5 times. Um, most Christians who've got 58 books have got a popular following, and you've been held back for a reason, not because your message isn't good, just because Satan held you back. And Satan thought he was holding you back, but now some of the wealthiest men in the world are in this room and listening to you, and they're going to open some doors for you, and you're going to get some audiences and start to fly around the world, and people are going to listen, and you're pretty interesting to listen to, and I'm even interesting when I speak through you, and you've got ums and ahs, and you use different abbreviations in your speaking, but anyone who's listening to you, anyone who listens, gets over that and gets relaxed, and your Zoom program with your hair going out and stuff isn't the most professional, and people can get used to that too, and if they just focus on the content, everything is fine. And so I want you to know that things are really happening, things are really coming together, and your mother's house is glorious, and it's like a mansion. It is a mansion, but it's like a you don't know the word, you're tired, you've forgotten the word, but it's like a palace where kings live, and your mother's very important in heaven, and she's certainly responsible for training the army of God, and all the army of God are going to go to their initial lectures by your mother. That's Christian discipleship made simple. She's going to teach that curriculum in the lectures, and I'm just going to pass what is like a microphone around the audience, and she's going to preach the message, and then just have like question time for 2 hours where people can ask questions about the material, and she's just going to answer it. And that's I'm talking about future events, but that's currently been happening for a year, and there's a great army of God already being raised up, and so we know your mother's house really well. Your father died 6 months ago, and he came to this house, and he realized right away that your mother was something, and was promoted to a great place. And one of the reasons when he goes with Bob Jones and plays golf, Bob Jones tells him about your future, and one of the reasons he cries is he just can't believe that his son is going to do it, and he just can't believe the things that you're going to do, and the change you're going to make to the world, and he just can't believe that he picked on you, and he was hard on you, and he's really gloriously happy that he helped make you and fashion you into the person that you are. And heaven is not about shame and condemnation. There's no shame and condemnation in heaven. So he does realize that he was hard on you and tough on you, but the beauty of it is he made you into the person you needed to be, and he constantly getting thanked by the saints for making you into this precious individual that you are. And I enjoyed talking to you today. And Matthew's got a book series called Playing Both Sides, Illuminati and Christ. And he's got part 2, part 3, and part 4 on video. The first video mentions uh, my name, my name, and so the first video is not listed, but it's got a. When the book comes out, it'll be a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and there's going to be a video part 5 that talks all about the Illuminati. And if you're a publisher out there and you're listening to this, uh, send Matthew the $100,000 contract for that book to become a bestseller. Um, so God bless you and keep you, and I'll sign off. And goodbye, investor. Goodbye, Mum. Thank you for talking to me today, Mum. God bless.